You know his name. You only think you know his story. A World War II hero, a man out of time, an Avenger, and a time-traveling hero. If you have a timeline that needs fixing, there's only one man you can call. Old Man Cap. At this point in time, I think it's fair to say that every Marvel fan agrees that the older version of Steve Rogers was in the MCU the entire time. Everyone's seen the old fellow who was at Peggy Carter's funeral, who we all know to be Mr. Rogers at this point. What we don't know is exactly what Steve was up to all those years. Marvel might have you believe that Steve spent all that time dancing with Peggy and having a quiet life, but we know better. So what was that life Steve had that he wouldn't tell Sam Wilson about? Well, I'm betting that it was straight up star-spangled awesome, huh? You see, there are a ton of random coincidences in the MCU. Things that just don't add up given the long timeline in which the Infinity Saga takes place. Of course, those things make perfect sense if there was a hidden hero in the shadows. One who was guarding the timeline to make sure that the Avengers would be safe to save the world exactly how they were supposed to. So why don't we use clues from the MCU to deduce Marvel's greatest untold story? So Cap finishes his road trip around time and space, only to end up back home with Peggy Carter. While the two undoubtedly had a lovely time for a little while, we know that Peggy Carter went right back to work creating S.H.I.E.L.D. Only her husband knew that Hydra was building itself right alongside S.H.I.E.L.D. While it's certainly possible that Steve just refused to tell Peggy anything, come on, you can't keep secrets from Peggy frickin' Carter. At some point, Cap broke down and told Peggy everything that was going down. Which means that while Peggy did build S.H.I.E.L.D. knowing that Hydra was working inside it all along, she was also likely playing double agent along with Cap to make sure that Hydra only got so far. Think about it. Hydra went from near world domination in the 1940s and really didn't make another major play until the early 2000s. Does that seem very Hydra to you? These are the same guys who made giant flying aircraft carriers that would decimate every single person on Earth who seemed like a threat, including perfectly innocent spinal surgeons who Zola somehow predicted would turn out to be a sorcerer supreme. Either Hydra is the most incompetent band of evil world-conquering bad guys ever, or someone was keeping them in check for decades. That's right, Peggy Carter and Captain America were likely the ultimate married couple spy duo, keeping the forces of evil at bay, while also pretending to not know they even existed. Why don't you just sit down, James Bond, because these two are on a whole other super spy level. While Cap couldn't save Bucky or JFK out of fear of disrupting the timeline, he certainly could have stopped 2 or 3 planned takeovers by the evil organization. He's likely teamed back up with the Howling Commandos to drop in on secret Hydra bases, taking them out so slyly that neither they nor S.H.I.E.L.D. ever figured out what was going on. This could have gone all the way to the MCU, where he may have just been off to the side, providing small pieces of guidance. I mean, they managed to find Tony Stark in the middle of the desert, and Steve Rogers frozen in the ice right before Loki's invasion. That's quite a lot of talent from the same agencies that managed to lose the frickin' Hulk. There are several instances of old men like the janitor who gave Bruce Banner a pep talk in the Avengers, who could very well have been a disguised older Steve the whole time. Just because he saved the past doesn't mean he's done with the future though. I think Steve Rogers would take an active role in the future of the MCU. I mean, he's clearly had a fake identity the whole time, if not several. So they wouldn't even need Chris Evans back for more. They could get someone awesome like Sam Elliott to pick up where Evans left off as Steve Rogers' cover identity. Imagine an older, gruffer Captain America back in the game as he helps out with the behind-the-scenes superhero duties now that Nick Fury is taking a spacecation with the Skrulls somewhere. He could have a big part in shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or even Shang-Chi, as he trains new generations of superheroes in order to fill the void he and Tony left after Avengers Endgame. Pretty much everyone else decided to go back to space, so someone's got to keep the band together. This could even lead to a Disney Plus series that basically serves as his Logan. Now that the Soul Stone is destroyed, Red Skull is no longer tied to Vormir. He could easily be on his way back to Earth, especially after he found out Steve Rogers is still alive when Cap returned the Soul Stone back to the timeline. Red Skull and Cap may have been due for one final confrontation, this time with no icebergs to be frozen in or planets to be transported to. Tell me you weren't hungry for a better final showdown than the plane fight they had during World War II. I think I can speak for the entire internet when I say that Captain America really deserves to beat Red Skull up so hard that he'll be thankful his nose already fell off. It might be time for Captain America, the last Avenger. He might be old, but that super soldier serum is still pumping through his veins. As he does like to say so often,
I could do this all day.
What do you guys think Marvel should do with Old Man Cap? Would you like to see him go for one more world-saving adventure? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more from CBR.